Big changes are on the way as we head into the week ahead with showers and thunderstorms, bringing in cooler air for a lot of the United States. But again, there's that word, showers and thunderstorms. Yeah, we are going to have the potential for some severe weather, but don't you worry, I've got the details on all of it right here in this video with some custom graphics included in the forecast. Thank you so much for joining me right here in this latest update video. Don't forget that down there in the description there is a free trial link, and that is to WeatherBell. The model maps that I use throughout my videos are from them, so if you want to check that out, go down there. Also, if you're new to my channel, right down below the video there is that subscribe button. Consider hitting that if you are new and you want more consistent, accurate, and easy to understand forecasts in the future as we go towards 5,000 followers right here on the channel. Let's jump right into the content here though with that future radar from the European model, giving you that overview of what's to come in the next several days, and starting off here just in the next 12 hours as we go overnight tonight from our Saturday evening as I film this into our early Sunday, July 14th in the morning. Coming out of Minnesota into some parts of Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, northern Indiana, as well as Michigan, we'll have to watch this lingering MCS or mesoscale convective system of storms from tonight. Any of those areas you see shaded in green having that best chance for some showers and thunderstorms, even as we go towards the middle to the back half of our Sunday. We'll still be watching that Great Lakes region as we go throughout the rest of our Sunday, one from that lingering MCS or mesoscale convective system, trying to bring some redevelopment through parts of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. Also, you see in the western part of that area, I have circled there, Iowa, Wisconsin, maybe sinking down towards Illinois as the evening rolls on Sunday into early Monday. We could definitely see some new storms fire up there too. Main threats, damaging winds, but some isolated hail and tornadoes will be possible there. Also, we'll have those same threats up here with a new low pressure system. This is going to be low pressure number 2. Coming out of parts of the Dakotas into Minnesota, as well as eventually Iowa, Wisconsin, all of the same areas coming out of Sunday, heading into our Monday. In fact, let's play things out through our Monday. You notice that new low really quickly moving off towards the east. This is a compact, fast-moving system. It's going to have the potential in the circled area to produce some compact, fast-moving segments of storms. So if you live there from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, especially through parts of Wisconsin, then the southern part of the state, into western Michigan, we've got Illinois, northern Indiana, through Iowa, northern Missouri, back on over there to Nebraska. This is that main quarter. We'll be watching severe weather late on our Monday, according to this model. The GFS model now actually in line with that, unlike with the last video where we kind of had some discrepancies between the models. We don't have many discrepancies all week long, in fact, so it's pretty good that we have the confidence that as we head towards our Tuesday, this is our July 16th, watching some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening, some of those possibly even left over from our Monday night over parts of Indiana, Ohio, all the way over there to New England. Elsewhere across the country, at least some isolated to scattered coverage of storms. Not necessarily severe, but something we'll have to watch from the southeastern U.S. back on, especially there towards the high plains, where some of those storms are a little bit along that front to where there will be a little bit more buoyancy and severe weather potential. Heading towards our Wednesday, July 17th, we're still watching that same front with that second low. The second low is, even though it was fast-moving initially, it's going to be stalling out over parts of eastern Canada, and the front along it is what's really going to be stalling out, bringing that heavy rain potential to the mid-Atlantic, the southeast, stretching all the way back there over to the central plains. We'll continue to have to watch at least some isolated severe weather chances day by day, mark my words, as that lingers around all week long. Let's look at that mid-level jet stream, 15 to 20,000 feet on up there in the atmosphere, to take a look at where the fuel for some of the severe weather is going to be in the atmosphere. What you notice is some of these greens are pumping out of parts of southern Canada and Montana. They go really all the way on over there towards Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin. And on the southeastern sides of pieces of energy like this, that's where you tend to get some of the severe weather. So the Great Lakes region, certainly still watching with that first low pressure system departing. You could have some of that lingering and redeveloping severe weather late on our Sunday, as I talked about earlier. We'll also be watching right underneath this piece of energy with that second low developing in the Dakotas and Minnesota. That zone could also see some severe storms, maybe even in more increased coverage late Sunday heading into early Monday. Here's that threat zone as we go towards our Monday afternoon and evening, and look where it is. The jet stream energy lines pretty nicely up with it, and what I was showing you earlier on the future radar from eastern Nebraska all the way up there to the upper peninsula of Michigan. This is where that best severe storm threat will be, and you see that little deeper green and yellowish shade there in parts of Iowa. That could really kick up some of those storms in that surrounding vicinity. So Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, you could be a focus of some of those storms on Monday. Going into Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to continue to see the southern and eastern side of this jet stream energy start to fuel up with some of those worst storms. So we're not going to be looking at widespread severe weather because nothing's lining up completely on top of each other. We're not seeing, any major lows really tracking through this area at this point, because the low will at this point be in eastern Canada. Definitely some isolated severe weather will certainly keep going, though, I think. even through mid to late week. Let's look at my ONW severe scale, a 0 to 7 severe weather scale, to give you a look at where severe storms are likely heading into our Sunday, July 14th of 2024. Scattered severe weather appears likely across the Dakotas and Minnesota, as well as in that other yellow area near Chicago, Illinois, Sunday afternoon and evening. Both threats being driven by clusters of storms with damaging winds, hail, and possibly an isolated tornado or two, as jet stream energy and low pressure will move through both areas respectively. If you're in the dark greens, and especially those yellows there, so the Dakotas and Minnesota, I'm talking to you, as well as on down there towards Chicago, Illinois, far southern Wisconsin, and northwestern Indiana, these are the areas I want you to be most concerned if you live in those areas for those highest threats for scattered severe weather, some of which could be quite significant heading out of our Sunday and into our early Monday. Let's play out how things go on our Sunday. So this is that lingering storm cluster from our Saturday night that I was telling you about much earlier in the video. Wisconsin, Michigan, you're probably going to have some form of heavy rainfall and some gusty winds ongoing through our Sunday morning. So if you have any Sunday morning plans, church, whatever you got going on, definitely be prepared for that. Southeastern Wisconsin, Michigan, and it could definitely be displaced from this. This is just one model run. Be prepared all through the Great Lakes region, going out of our early morning on Sunday, heading into the afternoon hours. Notice places like Detroit, down there in northern Indiana and Ohio, we could get in on some of those showers and thunderstorms, possibly refiring and strengthening again with some of the daytime heating we're going to have there through these locations. So at least a marginal severe risk definitely there from the Storm Prediction Center already. This is why I've got the 3 of 7 on my severe scale in the Chicago, Illinois area, because on the southwestern flanks of lingering storm systems like that, we can definitely get a little piece of energy, enough just to fuel up a new line of storms. That could certainly be what we see here in northern Illinois into our late afternoon and evening time frame of our Sunday. So be prepared for that, and that could initiate in parts of Iowa and Wisconsin too. So don't rule anything out in those areas either. Meanwhile, back on up here in the Dakotas and Minnesota, remember our Sunday threat is a level 3 of 7 here as well. Watching the damaging and winds and hail out of some of these clusters that'll get going, and we could see multiple rounds of them from the afternoon time frame all the way through the evening and overnight. Look at this. This is going to be another one of those MCS type scenarios moving through some areas of the Dakotas, Minnesota, and sinking southeastward overnight from late Sunday heading into our early Monday, and that could be what helps to fuel up new reinitiation or redevelopment, whatever you want to call it there, down towards the Midwest, heading into our Monday afternoon. Speaking of Monday afternoon, an area of scattered severe weather that could be significant is likely from Minnesota to southern Michigan on our Monday, as redeveloping, there's that word again, or re-strengthening damaging wind clusters appear to be the main mode. It's that time of the year where damaging wind clusters fizzle, but new ones form on that leading edge of where they used to be, and that strong jet stream energy and ample moisture will support robust storms with an elevated threat for 55 plus mile per hour wind gusts, plus isolated instances of hail and tornadoes. Again, this is that main zone that I think needs to watch for some of that scattered severe weather on our Monday. Now, this is a little bit of a different graphic as we go towards our Tuesday, July 16th. This is where I anticipate at least isolated severe weather to occur, which would line up with a level 2 of 7 on that scale. I was just using the ONW severe scale. So if you're over there in the high plains, as well as on over here from Missouri to Illinois to most of Indiana to Ohio to Pennsylvania and western New York, these are the locations I think the best chance for severe weather will line up going towards our Tuesday along that front. Remember, that front's going to continue to cascade southward as we go throughout the rest of the week. However, the chances for severe weather are very hard to pinpoint from there just because of how messy and disorganized everything looks beyond that point. Let's take a look at the precipitation and where we could try to maybe see some flooding come out of some of those storms. The good news is that a lot of the storms we get Sunday here over the Great Lakes region heading into our early Monday, so this is from Sunday in the early morning to Monday in the early morning, they're not going to add up to much more than isolated flooding chances there for Michigan, surrounding spots. Same's going to go with any storms we get Sunday night going into early Monday over the Dakotas and Minnesota, with mostly half-inch to 1-inch rain totals out of the heaviest storms there. Remember, the totals there are from that second low that's going to carry us really through a lot of the rest of the week. So by the time we go towards late Monday, heading through our Tuesday, from Iowa to Illinois to Michigan, all the way over there to the northeast, where some of the remnant moisture from that first low will also be, we'll have that isolated flooding potential. You just don't see any huge totals. So really the local max is going to be anywhere from around 2 to 4 inches, I think, for most spots out of the heaviest thunderstorms there in northern Illinois surrounding locations from Monday heading into early Tuesday. By the time we go towards the midweek time frame, this goes from Wednesday early morning to Thursday early morning. Heavy rainfall stretching along the east coast all the way back towards the central United States as well. Notice that this is mainly focused along that front, so from the Midwest into the Ohio Valley as well as the Northeast, where we're going to be closer to that low pressure system. will probably line up with some isolated flooding chances there, but you don't see any 2 to 4 inch totals really at least jumping out on the map. Sure, we'll see some of those in the locally highest thunderstorms. It's just not going to be widespread for flooding concerns, and that's the good news here, and that's the main storyline that I'm showing you with this graphic. The only thing that we might begin to see with flooding is a little bit of an increase as we go towards the southeastern United States, particularly around the Carolinas as we go towards Friday heading into Saturday, as we get continued rainfall from that stalling boundary there, and that could even last beyond Saturday and going towards Sunday and onward. Here's a look at that precipitation anomaly from the midweek time frame of this week all the way through the weekend. Look at where from Texas and New Mexico all the way over there towards the Carolinas, we've got that heaviest precipitation chance with above average numbers there in terms of the inches of rainfall we're expected to receive. Meanwhile, if you're up there from Montana over to Maine, behind that front, probably a little bit below average in the precipitation department. Temperature anomalies. Let's go into the week ahead, starting with Monday and Tuesday, looking warmer than average for most of the country, but that will change. I mentioned big changes at the start of the video. We've got warmer than average air in the Pacific Northwest Monday and Tuesday. We've got warmer than average air over here in the Ohio Valley, the East Coast, a lot of these areas, at least 5 to 10 to 15 degrees above normal, indicated by those red shades. However, here come those changes. Wednesday going into Thursday, we're going to start to notice some shifts. Yes, we've got warmth along the East Coast and the Southeast overall. That's going to be fading. We've got warmth in the West. That's going to stick around. But look at where we're going to have some cool air move in. Kansas, Nebraska, through Iowa, northern Missouri, all the way up there to Michigan. Very deep blue there, so about 10 to 15 degrees below average for some communities then. And then as we go towards Friday, towards Saturday, we continue to see that blue shade sink southeastward. So now we've got Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, up to Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and some of the cooler air. Very hot, though, still in the west, with temperatures in Idaho and Montana at upwards of 15 degrees above normal. Let's look at those daily high temperatures to close out this video as we continue to talk about some of the different aspects of this pattern ahead. Sunday and Monday, remember, they're the hot days for most of the country. So yes, the central United States, we have not gotten rid of the heat quite yet. We've got Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, as well as parts of the Front Range of the Rockies, including places like Denver, Colorado, all nearing the triple-digit mark throughout these locations. So if you're in the circle there, you're out of luck for cooler air, at least to start the week. Things will again get better, though, as the week goes on. The same will go over here. Hot to start the week with temperatures in the mid to upper 90s in a lot of spots. Look at that. We've got a 100-degree reading showing there on the Mississippi-Alabama border. Some 100-degree readings near Macon, Georgia, Augusta, Georgia. Very intense heat. Washington, D.C. near 96. Monday could be even hotter in a place like Washington, D.C. as we continue to surge some of these locations. Let's jump towards Tuesday, though, to begin to show you some of the contrast we're going to get. Up here in the north-central United States, the Dakotas, Minnesota, northern Iowa, as well as into Wisconsin and Michigan. A lot of upper 70s, a lot of those 77-degree readings that you see there on screen. That could include the Twin Cities locations. Definitely seeing that cooler air moving on in, but still down here south of the front, not much relief. Southerly flow pumping up towards that low pressure system and firing up those storms also brings temperatures up to the upper 90s to near 100. Raleigh, North Carolina, 100. Philadelphia near 100 for just the high temperature, not even factoring the humidity on Tuesday. That is rough. Into the Mountain West, we're still looking at plenty of 90s, and the further southwest you go, of course, into the California valleys, southeast California, southwest Arizona, it's going to be hotter there. The west is just going to remain very hot. We've got ridging over there, but what we're going to see is that troughing here in the east. So by Wednesday, now we're starting to see places like Detroit, Michigan in this circle here, getting into that upper 70-degree category when we've been near 90 earlier in the week. 80 in Chicago, down towards Kansas, we've got temperatures in the mid-80s, going towards Thursday, even cooler in some of those locations, whereas in parts of Washington over to Montana, it is still heating up with 90s. So that's going to be it for this update video. If you enjoyed this content and want more consistent, accurate, and easy to understand videos in the future, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button right down there below the video. Drop any comments and questions you have down there as well. I'll see you back here Monday or Tuesday, unless I do a live stream before then to talk about severe weather.